Okay, welcome everyone to another awesome time to learn. Okay, my name still remains Okpe Oduwa Oni, and it's no longer news that a lot of people are experiencing inflation, um, money, naira is losing value, and a whole lot of stuff are happening in the economy right now. I mean, that's what it is. Okay, so we always have to find the best way to maximize the situation at hand at every point in time. That's very, very important. So no matter the situation, you should not allow it to weigh us down, right? So we should not allow it to weigh us down. We have to find a way to maximize the situation. Okay, and so tonight I'm going to be giving an update. As I was preparing for this session, I just remembered a comedian that said something. Said, "Update, don't cast, because update is always up to date." I know that some of you already know who I'm talking about, right? So he said, "Update, don't cast. Update is always up to date," right? I just begin to laugh at that. Well, hopefully this will help you. And yes, it's a season of inflation. Things are happening. I was talking to a developer of recent, and he was telling me that they do not even put price on their property right now. That they've even gone past that stage. That is not the stage of putting price on property now. It's all about you come, you like what you see, I give you a price, you pay within 48 hours, and and after 48 hours you don't pay, I will have to change the price. So that's basically the way they have been operating and all of that. So I've been thinking, a lot of my clients, a lot of guys have been asking me. So now some of us are making dollars, some of us are not making dollars. How can we take advantage of this situation? Okay. So how can we take advantage of this situation? And there are a couple of things I've thought of and I've given to my people as updates, and some of them have tried it, and the math adds up, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with us today. Just something, just one thing, and I hope it will not cast on your own head. Okay, I'm just so excited to be doing this tonight. So I'll share a story. You know, whatever we are seeing right now is not totally new, right? It's not totally new. There was a video I saw that at some point within 1983 to 1985, or between 1980 and 1985 or thereabout, that um, a naira a dollar was valued at zero point 0.6 naira, which means is that if you have $1,000, you are going to be getting about $660. What it means is that naira was more valuable than dollar. Basically, that's what that means. And because of that, everybody wants to convert their dollar to naira. Imagine there have been a time like that, right? Yes. So it makes our export to be very, very expensive, and import for us to be very cheap. So we created a culture and an habit, develop an habit and culture of just importing, right? Even though at some point our naira was losing value, we just kept importing, we kept importing, we kept importing, we kept importing. And right now, we have to just look back in. We cannot afford to just keep importing again. So that's actually the situation that we find ourselves in right now. Okay. So the story I would like to share with us is something like this has happened before. Okay. And even in Nigeria, between that 1980, 1983, 85, the dollar moved from being stronger than dollar to a dollar to 20 naira. So from being stronger, now has lost value over that period. And does that look like Nigeria? At some point, naira was like less than 300. Now the value has been lost by 1,000%. Yes, by 1,000%. That's 10x lower. The same thing happened over there, and it caused hyperinflation. It caused a lot of people to leave the country. It caused a lot of people to want to be earning dollars. Just the same thing that is happening now. I know, unfortunately, we don't document things, we don't document history in Nigeria. I was still sharing with a couple of my friends. I was like, if we had shared, I mean, if we document things, what we're supposed to do is to go and be reading how people survived their business about 40 something years ago. How did they survive? What were the things that they did? And so that now that this history is repeating itself, we'll have been able to pick it up. One funny story in Germany, after between the World War One, Germany funded a lot of their war activities with debt, and they experienced one of the greatest hyperinflation ever in modern era. That was between 1918 to 1923. In fact, from 1916, 1912, they experienced those. The inflation was already building up because debt was already building up, right? So by the time it was getting to 1923, 1921, 1923, it has gotten so bad that between 1921 and 1923, if you go to a restaurant, which is very, very funny, you go to a restaurant and you want to eat at the restaurant, it is advisable that you first and foremost, you go and pay. You pay first for the food, then you order the food, then you eat. Because if you order first and eat, and you have an idea of what the cost will be before you start eating, by the time you finish eating, the cost would have changed. I mean, when I read that, I was like, wow. So it was that bad then. So, and similar to that is happening currently now. You go to the market to price. In fact, there was a video that was trending that somebody went to the market and went to price something, and so he said, okay, no problem, I'm coming back in 2 hours. Something of 1.6 million. By the time we got back there, the person said it's now 2 million naira. And the person was like wondering, how, where, how come within 2 hours, what happened, what were the factors that made it added 400,000 naira. And it was not funny. The guy did a video and all of those things. So these are the things that happen, especially in a country like Nigeria. When things goes up, we often say it, we don't have the culture of bringing some of those things back down. That's unfortunately, but that's actually the situation of things in Nigeria. We do not have that culture of bringing the price down. Okay, so having said that, how do we now take advantage of this season? I've done a previous video before on how developers can do their pricing and all of those things. So, and corporate investors, I've done a video on that. You can check, I think about a month or two ago. So you can check the last 20, 30 videos that I've done. You'll be able to get those videos there. Okay, so however, for an individual, so this is the update. I advised one of my clients and I told him, I said, see, when there is an inflation, lenders are loser. Lenders are loser. It has, I mean, yes, you can borrow money, but you need to be very, very careful. But the person borrowing, imagine you borrowed 100 million when dollar was 1,000. Okay, at some point you say you're going to get 1,000. It broke the 1,000 barrier. What you borrowed at that point in time was $1,000 was about 100,000 US dollars, and you needed to return it back at, let's say, 20% per annum in 3 years. So that's 60% in 3 years, and so you're supposed to give 1.6 million back, right? If you don't even do anything with that money, you get it. By just converting it to dollar, you already have the money back at the current exchange rate, and you even made profit by borrowing the money. It's so hilarious, and that's just the reality that we face. Speculation and all of those things. But I'm talking about holding an asset, because you see, when there are chaos, there's going to still be stability. So it's always cyclical. Economics doesn't. There's no economic situation that lasts long. So that's just it. So there's a chaos in the market right now. The government is going to troubleshoot a whole lot of ideas to making it stabilize. So in the midst of all those chaos, there's still going to be some measure of stability, and a new normal will take over afterwards. So in the midst of this chaos, how do you Because the truth is that there's still no permanent solution in sight, right? All the things that will make it come down drastically has not really. So the market is still going to be coming down, go down, coming up, go down, coming up, go down, and all of those things. Unless if we are able to get like a 30 billion or 50 billion US dollars bailout, and I don't think any of such is coming very soon. So we might be like this in the next 1 year. So how do you take advantage of such? So I told my friend then, I said, see, yes, cost of construction. I'm into development too. So, and it's crazy. I mean, a lot of the meetings we hold these days and time now is to discuss variation and all of those things. The QS are working overtime right now just to review bills, changing prices, review prices of things and all of those things. Cement. So I'm not going to all those details. So raising money to construct real estate now is not advisable. In fact, the advice now is to pause all construction in order to get stability. However, because of inflation, there's a lot of poverty, right? And there's a loophole, and that's the update, right? And so let me have your attention right now. So the update is the fact that a lot of people want to sell their property now. I'm talking about good property that require little upgrade. In fact, the person I'm talking about bought a 12 unit of apartment for 80 million naira. I'm telling you. So if you have access to fund, loan, that you know that you have the means to pay back, access those loans, use it to look for distress sales, pump into that distress sales, buy property cheap now. It was John D. Rockefeller that says that the best time to buy an asset is when there is blood on that street. He said, even if it is your own blood. Now there's blood on the street. He said, when they send the offer letter in, I couldn't even believe that the person that the owner was going to accept that offer. So that distress sales like that, you might say, oh, how much do I want to say? Just throw your offer, I'm paying you cash. In fact, the deal went from 250 million to 80 million. From 250 million naira, so gave an offer of 80 million. And I said, bring money. Because at that point in time, cash is king. So if you can access that cash, it's going to give you a lot of leverage. A lot of leverage. So that's the update, right? So what does that mean? Raise cheap funds as cheap as you can. The interest rate must not be too killing because, of course, inflation will most likely eat it up. In fact, the next person I gave the update to, I told him, I said, see, buy these properties, touch it up with little money, max, just paint and put it back to the market again and be patient. Let me give you cash flow, of course, that's very important. Put it back to the market again. It can even give you much more than that. That's if you don't have any other source of paying back. But if you have any other source of paying back, why not? Just stick with the other source of paying back that you have, right? This is the cheapest way season right now to accumulate assets. There's blood on the streets, inflation is out there, hunger is out there. Latch on this season. Latch on this season. Okay, so my name still remains Okpe Oluwa Oni. So finally, before I say my buys, one of the things that I still had a conversation with someone today. I said, see, there's a property distress sales too. The guy wants to sell you for a whole house for 30 million. I said he can't raise the 30 million, he doesn't have access to cheap funds. I said, okay, no problem. You are still very young, get a mortgage. Get a mortgage. I mean, I didn't plan to share this, but it can be the breakthrough for someone. Raise the, in fact, he didn't even have the equity that he was supposed to do up to 20%. It doesn't even have. I said, borrow it, put it together, drop it for mortgage, let mortgage pay. That deal went down today, just based on my advice. And he has 20 years to pay the mortgage, and he has a property that is going for 30 million that is valued. But when the insurance guys were coming into the picture for the valuation of the property, because of the cost of construction now is valued at 85 million naira. It was valued at 85 million naira. In fact, the first valuation was like 95. Just see, so I will not pay too much. Just give it to me at 85 million, right? And it's getting for 30 million, and it's getting as almost zero because the money, the down payment didn't have it. Had to borrow the down payment somewhere. Raise it for the mortgage guy, private lender, raise it for the mortgage guy. The mortgage guy paid for it. He's paying for 20 years for that property. So the more naira devalues, the lesser what he's paying, and the more rent is going to be paying. I don't know whether we get it. So the chaos outside there is that cost of construction is going up, is going high. Rent rent is increasing. So the money you'll be using to pay back is increasing. People are raising rent up and down. Rent is increasing everywhere. Cost of construction is going up. Rent is increasing, but there's still distress sales. So imagine these three chaos, what it can give to you is well. So let me say my advice. I hope you can pick some wisdom from some of the things I shared tonight. I'm so excited that some people are going to be picking this wisdom and they're going to be running with it, right? Running with it. Okay, so my name still remains Okpe Oluwa Oni. So go and win. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't win. Play big so that you can win big. That will be all for tonight. Okay, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See ya.